Hello everyone, my name is Yoon, and as you guys know, 3 months back I made a video about Navy boot camp, and now after that, a month later, I went to boot camp and I experienced it, and I'm out. And it's been 15 days since I came to my A school here at Mississippi, and I'm just going to share with you guys some of the things that I wish I knew going into boot camp. You know, if you saw my previous video, you can see in boot camp, right? It was mostly what I expected in those videos. In my previous video, what I said, and I had a great idea when I was coming in, and watching all those videos that I posted on the description and the link of my previous video. I had a great idea of what I was going to get myself into, what I was to expect, and I was really ready for it. But there were some things that wasn't covered in those videos that I wish I knew going into boot camp, and that's what I'm going to cover with you guys today. So, going right into it, I'm going to try to keep my video as short as possible, and I'm not going to be able to do a fancy editing as I could. I just don't have a laptop or a desktop here. So first thing is PFA and swim, right? PFA, physical fitness assessment, right? It's how many push-ups you can do, how many sit-ups, and your run in a certain amount of time depending on your age. And also your swim. The thing with those two, right? It didn't really apply to me as much, but it really did affect a lot of people. And that was kind of unfortunate, but PFA and swim, right? If you don't pass your first two tests, that's okay. But when it gets close to the deadline, right? When it gets close to the date of graduation, when you have to go to battle station, when you have to do this, when you have to do that, if you're not up to par, if you're not up to the standard, if you can't swim, something happens, right? When you first get there, during your first week in boot camp, with what's called processing week or P days, excuse me, you send a letter home, right? You send a letter home telling your parents that, hey, mom and dad, and they give you a graduation date up front really early. My phone's sliding, I just hope. All right, so they give you your graduation date up front and early, right? Which gives your parents a month's notice so they can take off work, they can schedule themselves a vacation during that time, during that day of graduation, right? 8 weeks later. And what happened to a lot of people, and what was really close to a lot of people also, was they sent that letter out, and their parents, a week or two later, make those arrangements. Call off work during that time, call ahead, book a plane ticket ahead of time, make plans early on, hotel, car, everything, right? And what happened was, because they couldn't pass their PFA, because they couldn't pass their swim, it came to the point where it was a week before graduation, right? They couldn't pass it. And guess what happens? They get set back. And when you get set back, when that happens, you have to call your parents a week before your graduation and say, hey, it's a script, right? It's a script that you're supposed to say. I don't know, because that didn't apply to me. But it's basically, imagine how you feel, right? You call your parents, hey, mom and dad, brother, dog, sister, uncle, whatever. I couldn't pass my run. I couldn't pass my push-ups. I couldn't pass my sit-ups. I couldn't pass my swim. Can you reschedule your flight? Can you cancel your flight? Can you reschedule your vacation? Can you reschedule your rent-a-car? Can you reschedule your hotel stay? Can you reschedule this? Can you reschedule that? And you have to say that to your mom, dad, brother, if your family's coming, right? Imagine that feeling. And that was the reality to a lot of people. And that's what happened to a lot of people. And that was really close for some people, but in the end, they pushed through because that was a real big motivator for them. And I would say, when I first started in boot camp and processing weeks, there was about I would say roughly 90 people, 90 guys in my what's that called? Anyway, my like big room, right? I already forgot what it was called. And in the end, there was only about 65, I would say, 65, and about a good portion of that is because of people getting asthma, which is being set back, separated, not being able to pass their swim, not being able to pass their PFA. So if you're coming into a Navy boot camp, make sure you're able to pass, be within the physical standards, and be able to swim. I know a lot of people coming from many different parts of the world never grew up with swimming pools, and it's understandable. But when you're coming in, just go to YMCA, go to LA Fitness, go to somewhere that has a swimming pool, and just get familiar with it before you come in. Because when you spend 2 months with the people around you, it's kind of like your family, right? And not being able to graduate with your family, it kind of sucks. And that did happen to some people, and that there were people that came into my division that got set back for the littlest things. And that's for another video, for stupid things, right? So number 2 is rank up. And this is something that applied to me, right? I came into boot camp as an E1. I planned to get out as an E3, and guess what? I got out as an E1. I had a great plan going into Navy boot camp, right? Just do what I'm told, take a position in within the division, an important role, and work hard, right? So I took the position of a forward hold PO, which is basically you're in charge of the supply of cleaning supplies and stuff. And because I heard those people get ranked up, promoted, and all that kind of stuff, so is RPOC, AROC, and all that kind of stuff. But here's the thing: only 10% of your division will be promoted. Only 10%. So if you're in an all-male division with, let's say, 100 people in the beginning, only 10 people will rank up in the end. Even though, let's say, there's only 60 people at the end, 10 people will be promoted. So for me, what happened was, I did everything that I was supposed to. I was one of the great recruits, top recruits, right? And people thought I was going to get it, and I thought I was going to get it too. But I miscalculated. I was in an integrated division, right? So basically half male, half female in one division, and I also had a brother division. And what happened was, when you're in an integrated division, right? So 10% of the division gets promoted, right? I thought it was going to be 8 males. But no, it's, I didn't think it through, right? 4 males, 4 females, right? And I still thought I still had great chances, but that wasn't the case. There was a jock who could really do well in the physical portions. He got promoted. AROC got promoted. One of the marching sticks, he got promoted, and I forgot the last person, but they also got promoted. But the thing with that is, right, my mistake was I should have taken the most difficult role, right? If you want to be promoted, take the most difficult position out there, because you'll work the hardest. And it doesn't matter if you become RPOC or AROC and if you're doing a poor job, you're not going to get promoted. You have to take those positions, stand out, be the best in your position, get the best grades in your tests, and always volunteer. Always volunteer. Other videos, they say never volunteer. No, always volunteer. But what I do recommend with if you want to be AROC, RPOC, and all that kind of stuff, don't volunteer at first, right? When you're processing, when you're week 1, week 2 of training, people will always volunteer. Hey, I want to be RPOC. Hey, I want to be AROC. And guess what? They'll always be fired. They'll be fired. It's just they purposely fire people, right? Why? Because they don't know. They don't know at first. So they mess up and they get fired. So what you would want to do is look, observe every single day. What do they do? What kind of mistakes do they make? And then, when you feel like you're ready, take that position. So with the job, take the most difficult job, do the best in tests and all that kind of stuff, okay? The third thing, peanut butter shots. People say it's not bad. It sucked. It sucked. I hated it. You get it twice in boot camp. One in the first week you're there, and the second one about midway through boot camp. It sucks. It sucks. When you sleep and when you get out of your bunk, it hurts real bad. And the gas chamber, that sucked. And some people were just really, it affected some people really, really extremely. Third thing, confidence chamber, not gas chamber. Apologies if I offended anyone. Shooting. Shooting. I've never held a gun before in my life. That was my first time being trained for a gun and shooting a gun, holding a first gun in my first time in my life. And I got an expert, which is the highest level that you can qualify for within it. Basically, follow directions. They'll tell you what to do. You only have 2 days to do this, okay? They'll tell you what to do. So just listen, follow it, and shoot. Basically, that's what I did, and I got an expert. And so my last few tips is watch out for my future videos. I'm going to go more in depth with categories within the things that I talked about, and a bunch of other different things that I didn't get to talk about because I don't want to make this video extremely long. And study for tests. If you don't really have great study habits, they're going to make you study. And with the rank up, I forgot to mention depth test, and alright. So the depth test, right? It was unfortunate, but the depth test is on the study guide, and also your depth test is also graded on the first week you're there, what's called the processing week. In your start guide, know every single thing. Your recruiter might say, don't worry about this, don't worry about that, but no, your recruiter doesn't know. Things change, right? Study everything within that book, everything, from the beginning to the end, everything. Okay, I can't say exactly which, and your depth test is actually 2 portions, right? The stuff on your start guide and your initial PFA. So 2 parts. You have to pass 2 to be promoted to the second next higher pay grade. So your run and fitness, your run PFA. It was unfortunate, but when you run, you're going to be in a Freedom Hall, which is the gym that they call, and you have to run 12 laps around the indoor track. And you're strapped up to this ankle bracelet, and it's a device where if you pass a pylon, it counts your lap. And there's a big giant TV screen right next to your name. It says 1, 2 as you keep passing by. And it was unfortunate for me. I run a minute a lap around there, so it's in total 1.5 miles. And in my 11th lap, when I passed, I saw the TV screen. It says Kim 11, right? So I ran my last lap as fast as I can. I passed the pylon, and I was like, I'm done. And I was, kind of relaxing, just walking. And I found out later on, my last lap didn't count. Unfortunately. And, I finished at the 12th minute mark, and at my age, at 22 years young, I can go up to 13:30. I have to make 12 laps within 13:30. So I could have, if I knew that it was only 11 laps, or my 12th lap didn't count because of the machine messing up, you know, I could have just walked the last lap and I made it. But you know, it is what it is. If you don't make it, you don't make it. So that sucked. And anyway, going back to my tips, right? Run outside. Run outside. Before I came in, I always ran inside in the gym, in the machine. That really doesn't do much. I mean, it really did help. And you know, I was a normal average runner within the boot camp. But running outside, it's because inside Freedom Hall there's no air conditioning, and the air is extremely different. So you're going to sweat a lot. And when you're running on a treadmill, you don't really sweat much. Just walking around inside the gym in Freedom Hall, you'll sweat more than you'll be on a treadmill. And the last thing is do calisthenics workouts. So push-ups, sit-ups, scissor kicks, flutter kicks, anything with your body. Don't lift weights. Lifting weights isn't going to really do you much good in boot camp. There were people that were big and all, you know, there were jocks. I could do more push-ups than them. What's the point of being able to lift 10 million pounds when you can't do, you know, like 50 push-ups, right? So that's, I wish I could have made this video shorter for you guys, but it's only 16 minutes, 17 now. But look at my future videos. I'm going to be posting more links in the description, or right here or here on the cards. Subscribe to my channel. All right, thank you guys.